Welcome to the show both feared and revered by man and beast, the heliosblog. Today on the Whatever podcast, will they rage quit when asked the real questions? Let's see.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
I don't know if I have to go for it, but really quick. Okay. Are you more attractive now or will you be more attractive in 10 years? Physically attractive?
No, in 10 years, guys. 38 is the starting point for female attractiveness.
I mean, I think it's obvious. I'm women age, and I feel like a prime for a woman is 18 to 25. I'm 24, so what? I have 1 year left, and then...
Perfect. She actually answered the question correctly.
Okay. Like it's down. Yeah, I mean, it's a sad thing to, think about, but I mean, it is truth, and it's biology, and it's 18 to 25 is prime time.
Prime time.
Prime time for babies, for all of it. I may not have this fast metabolism forever, but
Indeed.
Yeah, I think that I definitely will become unattractive in the next 10 years.
She actually doesn't have a fast metabolism. Even, it's clear.
But I think I have 2 good years.
It's not that you're going to be not attractive. It's just, are you more attractive now than you will be in 10 years?
Oh, yeah. By like the second. As the seconds go on,
it's all downhill. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like when I'm 30, I'm going to have like big ass titties and be like a hot MILF. So I don't know.
You think that makes you more attractive. Sadly, that's not how that works.
Chick's a MILF.
Okay. So you're currently 20, so you think you'll be more physically attractive at 30 than you are now?
Yeah.
What about at 40?
40? Prime, no, but hot, yeah.
Still hot, but not? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are the girls that think that the power that they currently have will last forever.
Okay.
I guess not. Or I guess I would.
Well,
be
so you're 28.
attractive.
Will you be more attractive at 38 or now at 28?
I guess 28, because I'm not 18 to 25. I guess now.
Okay.
I personally don't think the prime is so short for women, but I know you guys probably disagree. But no, I'm hotter now than 38.
What do you think the prime is? Just curious.
I think I'm 28, and I was...
It's whatever you say it is.
Like very naive, like when I was in my early 20s, like I didn't know how to do myself up.
Prime doesn't have to do with what you know. It has to do with biology.
Didn't know how to look good. And yes, technically maybe my body was like, I don't even know.
Your body was better?
I don't think it's changed that much. And I think I actually learned to be like more fit. Like it's not like I'm falling apart. You know what I mean? Oh my God, I'm hot.
What about you?
Once again, I've never really
Sounds like copium.
thought about this, but if I'm now confronted with the question, I would say now, probably.
Okay.
I have no idea what I'm going to look like in 10 years.
Well, I mean, knowing what you know about, just the reality of aging and biology, you want to take a wager?
Yeah, probably now. Not now. Let's say a year from now, after I have been going to the gym and figured out my skincare. A year from now. So when I'm 20, I'll be in my prime.
You're in your prime now. That you're wasting it has no bearing on biological reality.
I really don't know. I think it's like 50-50 because right now I don't have that much time to work out or anything. So like if I'm 30, I'm thinking I'll have a lot more time to, I don't know, do Pilates and stuff and get toned up. So I might look better. And also I have no money right now at all. So
do you think money will help you become more physically attractive?
Yeah.
What about in 20 years time?
No, I think by that time. But 30, you guys are acting like 30's old. 30's not old.
30's hot as fuck.
30 looks really good. I think a lot of women look better when they're 30 than 20.
Yeah, solipsism speaking, they're talking about men. 30 is attractive for men, not for women.
Like
You
also,
think women? Okay. all
also
right,
like
all right.
I like milk.
as you get older, you learn to do yourself up better, like you guys were saying.
But okay, you have to understand, right? So, when we're asking this question, it's not like at 20 you're just taking dog shit care of yourself. You don't know how to do your makeup. You're obese, and then 30. You're like a fitness model. You're the best at doing makeup. Your diet's the best. No, it's like your optimum at 20 and your optimum at 30.
Grid 1 Motorsports donated $100. Women's marketplace value is youth, physical appearance, purity, and a ability to have children. This is what defines your marketplace value. Feminism has failed you by telling you that you have time.
I completely agree with that.
Based.
Very based.
Based Grid 1 Motorsports. Dude, good to see you in the chat, man. Thank you.
I kind of agree with that, kind of disagree because, well, okay, obviously.
Because in my personal opinion, the decisions that I've personally made contradict reality, and therefore I'll go with those and not with reality.
Or what I just said.
Grid.
Okay.
Because I don't know what Grid considers like a optimal like time limit in which women still have value, like in youth and whatnot.
Fertility
Obviously, when you're
drops at
30, you're not as young as you used to be. There's gonna be your prime, like you said, 18 through 25. But also, like, sorry to put you out on the spot here, Mom, but my mom had me when I was 28. My mom had my youngest sister when she was like 32. So there is.
Yeah, that's just again describing the times that we live in, but that doesn't mean that they did it right, that they did it correctly. That doesn't mean that they did it correctly. They did it incorrectly. But it, again, you turned out relatively okay. But again, these bad decisions compounding over time, well, it's another story, right?
It's still time in the 30s. I think gagging on 30s in a physical appearance, you guys have some groundwork there. But when it comes to like the scientific fact, oh yeah, women are attractive only when they can have children. You like it's
true.
There is time. Like feminism isn't telling me this. It's just
So you're saying that there's time to have children still?
Yeah. If you take care of yourself, obviously.
There obviously is time to have children. But if you thought about it right now in terms of the attractiveness of a young woman who's got those years ahead of her as compared to 10 years time,
yeah, that's
then
what I said.
Those years are going to be detracted. You're not going to have those years anymore.
That's what I said.
It's going to be much more difficult to have children.
That's what I said when I agreed with you guys. But when I'm like thinking about what his...
Yeah, she's thinking about solipsism, right? Her personal opinion, how she feels in the moment is she has time. Therefore, all women have time. It's, the tired old argument, the tired old thing that women think.
His comment is saying, specifically on like the children part, not in the like attractiveness part, because I will say the younger, the more attractive. But I will say, I don't know, maybe you guys don't have like a full concept of just how far along in your life you can have children.
No, you can have
Grid
children.
1 Motorsports donated $100.
We got a couple coming in. Oh, just
I was
Grid,
35 when I married my wife who was 24. I consciously avoided women over 30. Too many bodies, too much baggage, too many disqualifiers.
So what we were saying before, and I think pretty based, but so what we were saying before in terms of having children.
Well done, Grid.
As a woman gets past 25, it starts to go down a little bit, and then as a woman gets past 30, it starts to go quite significantly down, and then 35 is like very difficult to have children.
Yep. So the idea is, if you're, let's say, 26, you should really, really look into getting into a serious relationship, settling down for marriage, and getting ready to have children. Because there really isn't infinite time to do it. And if you neglect it, you will run into serious problems.
So between 20 and 24, it's actually younger than that would be the ideal like time to have children if you're looking at biologically. And then up to 25, you're pretty good. But then when you get past 30, it starts to really taper off. And especially like conditions with children having things like Down syndrome becomes much higher.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying like it's not impossible. And like you said, past 35, I would say past 35, but if we're talking specifically about just like 30, even like 31, 32, there's still a possibility.
I mean, it's not impossible, but it's not ideal.
We're not arguing this. I mean, women can have children into their late 30s, early 40s. Like Jake was saying, though, it does start declining. I mean, and once you get past 35, I think that's when you get into high-risk pregnancy territory, much greater likelihood of miscarriages. There is a greater likelihood of birth defects, that sort of thing.
Yep.
But yes, women can certainly get pregnant into their late 30s, early 40s, perhaps even, I mean, pretty low percentage, but mid-40s they can. But I think the fertility thing, that's more so like an evo-psych biological reason for why men are more attracted to younger adult women. And did you have more, Jake? Or
no, I agree with you in terms of that women can have children then, so it's not like they just sort of like lose all their value at 25. I think that women above 25 can have children, can have an immense amount of value. However,
they don't lose their value. It's just compared to the market, compared to the other women, by comparison to their competition, they have less value. That's the idea. So like, if a guy had infinite choice, right? If he could choose any girl he wanted in the world, he wouldn't choose a 70-year-old, like a 70-year-old. He would choose, 18 to 24. That's what he would choose if he had the choice. Now, most men don't have such choice, right? Most men, they take what they can get, right? And so girls, take guys for a ride as a result.
If you look at it from a man who's wanting to start a family, maybe wanting to have 3, 4, 5, 6, 13 children like me, then I'd probably look at a little bit younger, 22, 23 sort of thing.
How old are you?
28. Yeah.
I wanted to ask, it's Grid, right? The last comment that came up?
Grid 1.
He said he was 35 and he married someone who's 24. I would just ask, why did you wait so long to get married? Like, what were you doing all that time?
The guy was probably building up his value to be attractive to the kind of girls that he was attracted to, right? Because in order for a guy to be successful with women, he has to be very attractive, right? And you don't get very attractive unless you're genetically gifted as a guy at a young age, right? Or unless you are some kind of athlete.
Why didn't you get married when you were 24?
Well, I have a bit of backstory actually on Grid, so maybe, I mean, if he wants to come in with another one, but I'll let you know. So Grid, for his early 20s, he was in the Peace Corps, and so he was like in Mozambique, fucking building houses and shit and wells. Then he came back, and then he got into stocks, and he was focused on his stock investments, and he sold oil futures. There's oil futures. He invested heavily in that. He made a fuck ton.
So he didn't prioritize having a family and having kids.
Yes, he was very much. He was like
women
just
too.
Very focused on oil futures, and then he's like he does racing. He's
wow.
Talladega Nights type shit. Like he
sells helmets as well.
Oh, wow. Very productive. I like that.
Yes, and he's also a hunter.
You're just making
a bounty
stuff up.
hunter.
Sounds like he sounds like a classic masculine man that girls are attracted to. That's the impression I'm getting anyway. And it's really funny that the girls think that he's lying. Yeah, because you don't meet a guy like that every day, right? Anyway.
A bounty hunter. It was hard for him. No, this is all true.
This is not true.
He was a bounty hunter. No, he was a bounty hunter. So like he's going from city to city trying to catch the bad guys, and it's just very hard for bounty hunters. I have a lot that contact me who reach out to me, asking for advice on dating.
Wow.
How do you date on the road while trying to catch criminals? And it's tough.
Okay.
It's tough.
That's beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. Yeah. Thank you.
Brian, are you a high value man?
He just made up this story.
Wait, where did that come from?
I'm just wondering.
Well, I sort of object to, like, for example, like terms like alpha male, beta male, high value man, low value man. I kind of object to those sorts of terms. But I mean, to actually engage with your question, can you guys be quiet back there? to actually engage with your question. I think in some dimensions of human achievement. Oh, well, okay, I'll let this
Grid
come
1
in.
Motorsports donated
What's going on back there?
$100. Men build themselves up to have a family, and good men do not have a family until they can afford them. I had nothing to offer a woman beyond the bad attitude at 24, but at 35 I was a full-grown man.
Build themselves up. Good men do not have a family. Yeah, I guess there's a little, longer incubation period for men. They have to, if
man's got to become competitive, right? Like, as a man, and girls don't really care, like, when it happens. They care that it happens, right? So, for different men, it'll be at different times that they become competitive. So, for some men, they become competitive at, 28. For some, they become competitive at 38, right? Ultimately, it's about being competitive so that you can provide for your wife and children, right?
women want providers, men need to become providers. It takes them a bit of time. So I think to answer your question, am I a high value man? Not in all realms. I mean, I think certainly there's some realms of human endeavor I'd like to improve on. I think in certain realms I would consider myself yes, but in totality I'd say it's hard to really answer that question. But and again, I preface this by saying I don't like those kind of categorizations, high value man, low value man, because that sort of exists on the spectrum. But like, for example, my fitness is not where I'd like it to be right now, and I think that's one dimension that I'm lacking in. But when it comes to
well, that's the thing, right? Like, men, it's a trade-off. What are you going to spend your time on, right? He's a businessman, so he spends a lot of his time working on his business, and that's time you're not spending on, that's time you're not spending on working out. But also, it's not only this. It's not only about the time you spend working out. It requires a lot of willpower to be like a businessman, constantly risking and so on, and that tires you out. Right? So at the end of a long day, you've worked 10 hours. Do you really want to work out even more? You see the idea? So,
for example, my career success or my finances, I think I'm doing fairly well. So there's that. And then I think I'd like to think I have my head on fairly straight. I don't smoke, don't do drugs, have no debt. Don't smoke, don't drink, don't smoke, don't do drugs, don't party, don't go to bars, don't have really any vices. So I think in those dimensions I'm doing quite well. So,
do you agree with the whole red pill thing, that it's good for men to sleep around, and it makes you have a high?
It isn't about okay. So that is a value judgment, and that's dependent on the guy, what he wants to do, whether he values that or not, sleeping with lots of girls. It isn't that isn't what actually makes a guy successful. What makes a man successful is not doing the action, it is the ability to do it. So what I'm saying is, the only guys that girls choose are the guys that are able to sleep with multiple girls. That isn't to say that they do, it's just that they could if they wanted. That is to say they're competitive, right? Because women only choose competitive men. So there it is.
Higher value as a man if you're sleeping around, have a ton of bodies.
So I don't think promiscuity is good in men or women. I do think when men and women are promiscuous, I do think that there are differences there. I do think that it can certainly have a negative impact on both, but I do think that the negative impact tends to be
worse for women,
more significant in women for men who are promiscuous. But I certainly think there are differences between the genders. I'm not in favor of promiscuity in either sex. I will say, though, that I do think it is the case that to be broadly attractive to women, you're going to have a much higher degree of relational dating and relationship experience than the reverse.
Yep.
So I think that you know, a man who lacks experience with women is going to be probably deemed
But what about sexual experience, like the number of partners?
If the woman's a virgin, then it probably won't matter. But
yeah, if the girl has like, let's say 5 guys, 5 to 10, and the guy has like 1, it's not going to be good, right? So you need some baseline level, probably 20 as a guy. Although I've also heard recommendations of 50 as the baseline. But again, it's for most men that is extremely difficult, if not impossible. So,
but once a woman's lost her virginity, and if she's had a few sexual partners, a man lacking in that department is actually going to be could be a pretty big deal breaker for a wide swath of women.
That's right.
I don't think it requires a man to sleep with 50 or 100 women to become sexually experienced, but I think, for example, like even very sexually experienced men may very well prefer women who are not sexually experienced. They might find that attractive or sexually arousing, whereas the reverse is very rarely the case. Sexually experienced women are repulsed by men who are virgins.
I feel like most high-value men look for women who are not experienced. I feel like high-value men in this world look for, or at least in my opinion, I feel like when I think, what does a high-value man want? 18 to 25, virgin, thin, woman of God, no tattoos. I feel like it's
and that's you, huh?
It's different. Like for me personally, I'm not necessarily looking for a high-value man, but I would want a man that has a little bit of experience. But I feel like from a man's perspective, when they're looking for like the woman of their dreams, they would find a woman that doesn't know anything.
Kind of depends. I think we maybe need to define high value man though a little bit better.
Do I define high value
Some
man?
people would look at a high value man as a guy who's like sort of in Dubai with a Maserati and sort of has all these chicks. I wouldn't say that's a high value man.
Mm-mm.
But some people would look at, I look at, for example, Michael Knowles, who was on the podcast last week. I think he's a high value man just because he carries himself so well, and he's a husband, and I think he's a father now as well. I look at guys who are fathers, who have been in a relationship for a while and who have been a good leader of their family as high value men, and especially good leaders of their community.
Not bad.
I think leadership is
sometimes
important.
Having experience with women does come.
That's what he's describing as a trad, traditional conservatively attractive man. And he's not wrong. They are very attractive. It's just a lot of girls in 2024, they pretend to be trad girls, but they're actually, not trad at all. They just lied, right? And that's where a lot of guys have problems, is with girls that lie about being trad.
I'm in handy with that. So it's just one of those realities of the world we live in right now.
It's why expertise with women is required in 2024. For example, my expertise with women tells me that girl with the ears is a walking red flag. The girl to her left is a walking red flag, and the girl to her left is also a walking red flag. All 3 of them, for different reasons. Girl in the middle has a tattoo on her chest. That's already a no-go. That's already, she's shown the kind of girl she is. For example, the girl on the right is an attention seeker. Attention seekers tend to cheat, so she's also not good. The girl on the left is highly insecure, which is why she has so much makeup, even though she doesn't need it. She's a very beautiful girl. Clown makeup is also not attractive. It's an indicator of high insecurity. High neuroticism might cause you a lot of problems in the future. So.
Yeah, I think there's people say there's a double standard, but I think there's a double standard for a reason. Men and women are very, very different. And I personally don't see an issue with a man going around and being with a bunch of women. Even, my ex who I dated, he would go see other women every now and then, and I never really had a problem with it. I didn't think that there was an issue with it. I think it's normal, but as a woman, I feel like there's just this system in place where you can't. I feel like it's wrong. That's just the way that I feel.
Your position is that women want men to be experienced and go with a bunch of women but you would prefer not to go and do that because
Can
the
you
man
repeat the
values
first
it?
part again? What was
So
that?
your position is that you value men who go out and get experience with other women?
No, I don't.
but
I think it
you-
doesn't matter. But I don't look at
But
a man and I'm
but
like,
you want to like preserve yourself for the man you're with. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I have not preserved myself in the best way, but
is that
I think
ideally though, like if that's what your view is.
if I'm in a relationship with a man, I think that, I mean, I am 100% loyal. I am purely just with
Stop
the
the
one
cap.
man that I'm with. I think that from his area, I feel like it's okay for him to do it. I feel like men and women
are different. Men are polygamous by nature and women are serially monogamous. Again, yeah.
and love and lust are very different emotions. And for me personally as a woman, when I'm have any sort of sexual interaction with someone, it's emotional, whether it's a friend or it's in a relationship. There is emotion there, and to me, I could never give my emotion to someone else if I'm in a relationship. As a man, I feel like it's much easier for a man to go out and have a casual hookup and there be absolutely no emotions. For a woman, it's not.
It is easier for them, but do you think that's okay? Do you think that's right? Just because it's harder for a man to separate like his emotions from his
It's all about right and wrong, huh? It's more about power.
sexual desires that he should just go out and do it just because it's easier.
I mean,
But
it's
don't you
not
think it
something
should-
I would want, but I think
should you have that standard though? Like if that's what you want, if you want your man to have the standard to look at you emotionally, not just like sexually, that like he should live up to that. Like there's men out there that aren't just
Okay, let's end the video there. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all for notifications. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian R, Tom and Bobby, Dylan, Renaissance Press, Brian, and Andrew. Shout outs to you, most recent purchaser of Strategist Guide to Seduction. Thank you. Go buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. My Patreon can be found at patreon.com/theheliosblog. And if you'd like coaching, if you want me to help you out, just message me on my email. That's theheliosblog@gmail.com. And I'll slot you right in. Thank you so much for listening, guys, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.